it's not supposed to be that way. I don't know the words. Why is this true? How is this true? So this is the big part right here. Instead of focusing on affirmations, right, you then focus on, hey there, welcome back, or welcome if it's your first time. As you know, on this channel, we talk about how in life, it's not only me and it's not only you, but life's ups and downs are universal. Today, I wanted to dive into our mindset, not just in a start of something, but just every day in life, the mindset that we need to have. And that is tied into our subconscious. So let's get into it. All right. So if affirmations have ever made you feel anxious or it's a lie or just like ick, for me, what I found the reason is that it's a statement that I don't have anything behind. It's just fluff. I'm just saying it. But when you instead ask yourself questions, your subconscious, and it can respond to those questions, not those fluff or empty statements. I'm going to walk you through some of those questions and the reasoning behind the questions that really can have an impact on your subconscious. First thing is ask your mind. Don't tell your mind what's true, because our mind really can go to work for us if it knows what it is that we want to lock in and focus on. You've heard different affirmations. I am strong, I am lovable, I am whatever the statement is that you maybe need to improve upon in your life, or you need reassurance, or you need to grow in your life. Those are some of the common affirmations. And for many people, I wouldn't say backfires, but for many people, it doesn't yield the result that they want it to. So what has worked for me instead, like I mentioned, is asking my brain the question without having to make the statement and have resistance get created. Unintentionally, if I make a statement, sometimes what could happen is my mind or my brain is looking for reasons as to why that thing, whatever it is false. Versus when I make a statement, versus when I ask a question, right? My brain, my subconscious is now seeking out or looking for, why is this true? How is this true? So this is the big part right here. Instead of focusing on affirmations, right, you then focus on affirmations, right? Because the key is we want to form something, form a belief. We want to form a identity. We want to form a new direction. We want to form or forge a new path. So I like this because I'm not trying to force, I'm forming something, but I'm not trying to force anything. What I'm trying to do is I want to open it up or invite exploration. All right, so any well-designed things, our human body, our brain contains the RAS, the reticular activating system, right? So when I ask a question or I ask a question repeatedly, my brain will consistently be seeking out that answer. It's almost like, I've talked about in other videos, but what you focus on, you're going to see more of. And sometimes we focus on what we desire not seeing more of, but that's just the way the brain works. So when I say, I'm thinking about buying a red car, well, guess what I'm about to start seeing a ton of on the highway or on any road, because I've told my brain this is something I'm interested in, or this is something that I want to focus on or acquire. And so not that I'm going to purchase these cars I'm seeing, but it's just saying, oh, this is what you said you want to see, right? You like this? You like the red one? Well, here's another red one. Here's another red one. So you can leverage that same effort, that same energy. You can leverage that same thing to help you with whatever it is that you're trying to see more of in yourself, or that you want to have supporting evidence of being within yourself already. And we're going to do that with questions. Like I mentioned, questions can engage that curious part of your brain rather than the offense or defensive part of your brain. That's what questions allow you to do that. Somebody really needed to get in front of me, so I let them go. That's growth for me. You know. Okay, leave it. So if I ask myself certain questions at certain times throughout my day or consistently over a period of time, my mind, my subconscious, my brain is going to start collecting evidence to be able to sufficiently answer those questions. So with this one, I'm not lying to myself. I'm not trying to bypass or skip a process. What I'm doing is I am solely training my attention on what I want to see more of. Just like with the red car, the blue car, whatever, I want to see more of this. Why am I this? So this is something that can help you form. These questions can help you form what it is that you want to see more of in yourself, in your environment. It's really powerful. All right, so I'm going to walk you through this example, and then I'm going to walk you through how to do it, and then I'll give you an example. So first thing you want to do is identify a limiting belief that you have. You inherited it, you developed it, whatever. You relate to this limiting belief. You feel like this limiting belief is a reason why you're not able to advance, right? So you want to first identify your limiting belief. And then after you're able to identify that limiting belief, what I want you to do is write that limiting belief into 2 or 3 questions, open-ended questions. Now that you have the limiting belief and then you have the 2 to 3 questions, now that you have that, you ask yourself, like I said, at certain times, right? You ask yourself these questions strategically, well, at least at minimum, strategically, 1 time a day. But what would be most helpful is asking yourself these questions multiple times per day. So in the morning, we know that we are most susceptible to what we're taking in the morning and before we go to sleep. So these are key times for us when our brain is susceptible to whatever it is that we want to pour into it. And then too, in the middle of your day, in the midst of your day, when you have an experience where some sort of a moment of doubt occurs or a doubt creeps in, I want you to ask yourself these questions then. So minimum, ask yourself these set of questions once per day. But if possible, you can ask it up 2 to 3 times per day, or however many times you may have a moment of doubt. Threw my love away, told your friends that you were. Now it's not supposed to be that way. I don't know all the words. All right, so now that you know the framework, right? The objective, or what you want to be keeping an eye out, or the goal is to have your brain start noticing that the evidence naturally in your everyday life. Just start noticing the evidence, not forcing any type of answers. It's not something where I write the questions and then I sit there and I think about the answers. No, that's not what we're doing. Just the same way how people do affirmations and then they don't sit there and it's like, all right, has it happened yet? Has it happened yet? Has it happened yet? No, it's not like that. You're doing a planting. You're planting this. And you're allowing your brain to seek out the evidence for you, right? So I just want to also add that. All right, so let's walk through this together. Get my camera straight now. All right, so number 1, identify your limiting belief. Let's say that the limiting belief is, I've experienced this. This is one that I was dealing with. I am behind in life. I think right now there is something called the Great Millennial Crisis, or it's something like that. I'll put it in the description box. But so anyways, I felt that strongly. I felt that that I was behind in life. So let's say that's your limiting belief. Let's say you are at the point right now and one of the limiting beliefs that you are being plagued by or hindered by is that you are behind in life. All right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to identify those questions, right? So how can I flip this or reframe this into questions that I can put my brain to work, my mind to work, to find evidence for just naturally, all right? So one of the questions could be, what is this season that I'm in right now preparing me for? Why is my timing starting to work in my favor? It's a little bumpy. And then next could be, what strengths am I building right now? You can ask yourself any questions that you feel your limiting belief could be reshaped into, and it makes sense. You could even say, why am I not behind in life right now? You could ask yourself that. Why am I not behind in life right now? You can ask yourself anything else around that, but try to keep it like 2 to 3 questions, because it could turn into 17 questions where it's like, all right, this is getting a little outrageous. But you could just have those 2 to 3 questions. If you can't get it down to 2 to 3, try to get it down. And you can just ask yourself, like I said, you can ask yourself morning, upon waking up, right? Not even, your feet haven't even hit the floor yet. And then when you're going to bed, you're getting ready to maybe drift off. That's a good time too. You don't necessarily want to be like wide awake watching a show and then you're like, hold on, let me ask these questions. You could, but you want to do it when you're more so your body's starting to not drift, because you don't want to wake yourself up just to ask yourself these questions, but you're feeling rested and you're feeling like I'm ready to go to sleep. That's a good time to ask yourself these questions. And I do want to add too, it's about the consistency and not the intensity, right? Because you don't want to be taxing yourself. What is this season preparing me for? It's not about the intensity of how you ask the question. It is more so of you just planting that question out there. Just drop that question out there. That's it. You don't have to overwork yourself. You don't have to make it a mantra. You don't have to exert a lot of energy. Just ask yourself the question. That's it. Just ask yourself the question. You don't need to convince yourself of something that you don't believe yet. I don't want you to do that. I want you to ask yourself, why is this? Why could this be true? Why is this? What evidence can you find? Partner with your brain. What evidence can we find as to why this might be true? And how am I getting closer to this? If it's not real right now, how am I getting closer to this? So all I want for you to focus on is focus on asking better questions and leave it there. Let your mind do what it does, because it does it already for you right now. It's doing it in a way, for me at least, it was doing it in a way where it was adding stress to my life and not adding relief. This is positive evidence that we're seeking out, not negative evidence. We're seeking out positive evidence to help us maneuver and move through life more confidently and more strategically. So I really want to encourage you to just go with what you're learning about yourself, but also too moving in knowing that you are striving for something better, and that something better is already growing and developing within you. You just have to show yourself the evidence. And I want to say this too. So you're not broken, you're just training your focus. So let's put it into action. In the comments, you can write rewrite one of your limiting beliefs that you have framed into a question. You can put it in the comments and I'm going to read a few of them, but go ahead and just drop that down there. I'll put mine down there as well. So I hope this was helpful. I hope you see how you can, if you had an experience where, the affirmations didn't really do anything for you, I feel like the affirmations have really helped me more so than the affirmations could have or have at all. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. Please check the description box. Please feel free to grab one of the free journal prompts, as well as some of the different worksheets that have helped me in my journey to betterness, healing, wholeness. So take a look down there and see some of those. As I've mentioned in the past, we do love reading the comments. So I will take a second and read one of the comments from our previous video. The Projector's Cut wrote, "Excellent video. Thanks for sharing." Thank you so much for your comment. I really appreciate that. I love reading your comments. It's always so sweet and exciting to just know that you watched it, you got something from it, and you also took the time to tell me. Thank you. I really appreciate that. So, like I said, leave a comment, like this video, give it a thumbs up, and thank you. Again, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you guys so much. My sunshines, I appreciate it. And go have a great day. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.